Heat in one treatment. No need to tent or spray your house with chemicals. Heat is all you need. Call 661-298-2200 or text me a bug picture to 661-645-0540. It's time to sleep tight again, STV.
Hey guys, this is Cardinellis, host of the new show, Problem Solver Politics, an independent political talk show that keeps you up to date and in the latest political happenings, both nationally and here in the Santa Clarita Valley. Now, this isn't your usual partisan political talk show. At Problem Solver Politics, we have both Democrats, Republicans, and Libertarians hash out their differences on air as we strive to find solutions to today's challenges. Join us Sundays at 7 p.m. for Problem Solver Politics.
The best live theater can be found right here in the Santa Clarita Valley. The Canyon Theater Guild has been entertaining audiences for decades with top quality musicals and plays. Located on Main Street in Old Town Newhall, CTG also offers workshops for the young actor in your family. For more information, call the box office at 799-2702 or go online to canyontheater.org.
Hey there, it's Tori with your hometown station weather. Partly cloudy today, a high of 87 degrees. Clouds in the overnight with a low of 55. Tomorrow, Saturday, partly cloudy and a high of 70 degrees. And more of the same on Sunday. The KHTS Home and Garden Show is next weekend at Central Park, April 27th and 28th. For more information, go to hometownstation.com.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome to the Alex Urbina radio show. The following is paid programming and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of KHTS or its ownership.
And welcome to the KHTS studios. This is Alex Urbina, and you're listening to the Alex Urbina radio show in beautiful downtown Newhall, California, hanging out with my lovely co-host, Helen Tunick. And today's show is all about life coaching and how to create maximum value for yourself or from a life coach or from the simple willingness to just be open to all possibilities. And today's show is a series called Helping You Reach Your Full Potential. And today we're going to be talking about one of Ellen's pet peeves. And the pet peeve is the word I'm sorry. And I'm guessing it's probably because it's being used in the wrong way, like out of context. When people say I'm sorry, is it being overused, or what's the pet peeve about?
Well, the pet peeve is about people use it for everything. Therefore, it has no meaning anymore. There are people who say I'm sorry every time they turn around. So today, I would really like to talk about what it really means and what is an appropriate and kind time to actually use it with sincerity, and how do you explain to someone who expects you to be apologizing why you're not?
Yeah, and I think if somebody's expecting you to apologize for whatever reason why they've justified that you should be saying you're sorry,
Yes.
On your end, if it doesn't make sense to give an apology for something that you're not sorry for or didn't do anything with a certain intent, then I can see how two people can be wondering why one person's not saying, why they're not being sorry or feeling sorry or saying it, and the other one's wondering, why are you requesting this from me?
Because again, it's that perception that people should constantly be saying they're sorry. That is not my perception or concept of saying I'm sorry.
So what would be an appropriate time or a scenario that would fit in a box for you to be sorry for? Like, what would it have to look like?
It would have to look like I unintentionally said something or did something that caused somebody else to feel badly, and that I'd be totally up for saying I'm really sorry. It was not my intention to say something that would cause you to feel a certain way.
Okay, so that's unintentionally.
Right.
What about if you did something intentionally?
To hurt somebody?
Yeah. I know you can't fathom that.
No,
but,
I can't.
But sometimes in the heat of being angry, we do or say
Oh.
things in that moment because
I still would say I'm sorry.
yeah, okay. So
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to clarify whether you did something intentional or unintentional. If it offended someone, hurt their feelings, it caused
feel a certain way.
Yeah, in a certain negative way.
Yes.
Then you would justify. Now I can see me feeling bad for you, having some compassion, feeling sorry that
and knowing I had a part.
that
of
I had
that.
a part of it, I co-created it or co-caused
Right.
it, right? And then you would kind of do the cleanup with the I'm sorry. Now,
Yes.
as we're painting that picture, I'm thinking to myself, well, first, somebody would have to communicate to you that their feelings were hurt in the first place. If they don't let you know that they were offended or that their feelings were hurt, then in your mind, you're saying, why would I say I'm sorry for something if you don't let me know that you were offended or you were hurt?
Well, there's kind of two sides to that, too. Sometimes that definitely someone would have to say, wow, what you just said made me feel like this, and I would respond. But sometimes I might say something and realize a minute later and check myself and go, that wasn't cool.
Okay. So if you notice that you hurt someone's feelings, offended them, then you would rationalize that now an apology is needed on your part, and then you would take action. If they verbally communicated to you that they were offended or hurt, then it would validate that now an apology is
Yes.
required. However, if somebody doesn't tell you or share with you that they were hurt and asked you to apologize to them, would that be warranted?
No. It's like, I'm not going to apologize just because someone says you need to say you're sorry.
Yeah.
For example, this whole thing came up with riding in the car with my husband, and I told him, that the restaurant we were going to was in the front part of this place, and he said, no, it's in the back. I said, no, it's in the front. So he said, fine, we'll go to the front. And turns out he was correct, and it was in the back. And he looked at me and said, are you ready to apologize? And are you ready to say you're sorry? And I said, no, I will tell you I was wrong and that you were absolutely right. Restaurant was in the back. But I didn't see the need to apologize for that. And that's what started this whole thing. And is there a difference between saying you're sorry and apologizing? I mean, are they synonymous? Are they the same thing?
Well, I think when we talk about an apology, it's the act of sharing, communicating your sorrow. And the word I'm sorry is just the words that's going to be the symbol for the apology that you want to make. So it's like there are two different distinctive things. One's the apology is I'm really feeling the sorrow, right? It's the feeling, the emotion. And then saying the words I'm sorry is communicating the actual words of the apology.
Which you give in that process, you're forgiving yourself for saying it as well.
You can't, yeah, it could be an act of forgiveness, but I think the words I'm sorry is that you're communicating to someone else a couple of different things. One, that you didn't mean to do it, and I'm hoping that if you apologize, that some apologies come with, "Hey, I'm sorry that's what happened. I didn't intend to do that."
Right.
I think that helps. For one, somebody hearing an apology is you taking responsibility for saying something, being a part of it, creating it, or co-creating the misery that they're feeling. So it's taking ownership of it. When you don't say I'm sorry, it's very easy for you to make up a story that other person did it, and that they're unaware that they did it, or they are aware and that they just are callous and don't care. So that's why the word I'm sorry and apologizing is letting someone know I do care. I am compassionate. I do feel that you're hurting, and that does matter to me, and that means something to me. And so, by you apologizing and using the words "I'm sorry" is communicating a lot more than just the words.
So I should have said I was sorry.
Well, no, it's not a matter of I should have. I think I'm trying to put myself in his shoes, and I'm wondering, maybe he didn't really mean to ask you for an apology.
Oh, no, he did.
Okay. Rather than wanting you to acknowledge that he was right.
I did that.
Okay.
Wasn't enough.
Okay, so then when he asked you to apologize, I'm wondering why you didn't ask him if his feelings were hurt.
Oh.
Because that's the missing puzzle piece for me is,
got it.
How come you didn't say, well, I'll apologize, honey, if your feelings were hurt. Were your feelings hurt? Then he could have said yes or no. Or he could have checked in with himself and said, well, no, they're not hurt. Then you could say, okay, well, did I offend you? Well, no, I wasn't really offended. Okay, then what would be the purpose of an apology?
Because he says to me, you have a hard time apologizing.
And do you?
Well, I apologize when it's appropriate.
When you decide that it's appropriate.
Or someone tells me.
Or someone communicates to you, which is what I was saying earlier.
Right.
Whether
yes.
you've identified it or someone else has identified
yes.
it and then communicated it to you.
Yes.
But you're not just going to give I'm sorry or an apology
every 2 seconds.
Just because.
Yeah.
Okay. And there are some people that do that. And that might be another pet peeve of yours that started this whole process for you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry.
Does that annoy you when you're around someone that's constantly over apologizing? Does it cheapen the apology when someone uses it too many times?
My daughter used to do it. She doesn't do it as much anymore. Everything was, I'm sorry. And I would look at her and say, sweetheart, what are you sorry about? There's nothing here that you need to own, that you need to say you're sorry. And so, over time, I think she does a much better job of checking in with herself and realizing whether that is necessary or not. But yeah, it's like words are very powerful for me. And so when words come at me that are not authentic in my head, I am challenged by it. And it, I love, everyone with, I love you, I love you, I love you, I'm sorry. Things like that. Yeah, since I glom onto words because to me, that's your basic form of communication between two human beings. So the words that come at me mean a lot. And
okay.
So I guess that's where I'm coming from.
All right. So let's imagine your daughter apologizes to you in one 12-hour session with her in a day, right? You're on vacation, whatever. She makes a mistake in the morning. She goes, I'm sorry, Mom. And then you don't say nothing. And then sometime during the day, second apology. And then you get the third apology later on in the afternoon, right? So at a certain point, you're now either letting her know, like, honey, you don't have to keep apologizing. Have you ever considered that for her saying I'm sorry to you is something that she needs to say to hear herself say it? Maybe there's a functioning on her side that she is practicing, something that she's acknowledging, that she's trying to master within herself. Have you ever considered on her side, or is it just from your point of view, feeling like this, like too many sorries is cheapened after?
It's my side.
Yeah. So I wanted to point that out.
Yeah,
that maybe,
thank you.
And the reason why I say that is because I kind of look at the word "I'm sorry" and an apology as though I'm giving somebody a gift. And it's a gift that I'm offering. It's like an offering, a peace offering, to let them know, one, I care. Two, I want to clean up if I did something, whether it was intentionally or not. But I look at it as a gift. Just like forgiveness. It's like a gift. I'm giving you this gift. And if you're telling me, Alex, you don't have to keep apologizing, it's almost like you're saying you don't want my gift.
I don't care about your gift.
Yeah. Well, I can perceive it like that.
Right.
I personally wouldn't.
Right.
I would just probably let you know, like, hey, I needed to say that to you because I needed to own up to it.
Yeah, and if somebody said that, like if you said that to me, I would go, whoa, aha, but most people don't do that. They just kind of take it in, but seeing that shift is, ask the person a question. Did I hurt you? Did I offend you? That makes a huge difference.
Yeah, because then now you're narrowing down why, you're probably still right now in this moment wondering why he was asking for an apology, because you can't see where it was being requested from. Correct?
Right.
Are you still unclear about it?
Totally unclear.
Okay, so as a communicator, it's your responsibility too, if you're unclear in that moment, instead of going at him with, no, I'm not going to give you an apology because I don't see that it's warranted. Instead of getting into that, why didn't you could have just said yeah, and then narrow it down to, why do you need the apology? Did I offend you? One, did I hurt your feelings? And then just go down the list.
Yeah.
Until he goes, yeah, you kind of did offend me. Okay. Well, if I offended you,
I'm truly sorry for that.
Yeah. But I think it just you guys both didn't narrow it down.
No.
And on his end, he didn't
explain to me, well, you hurt my feelings, or,
Yeah, he didn't explain why the request of the apology was warranted on his side.
Or, and why is this important? What does the apology, where does that stand for you?
You could even ask them that. Honey, is me apologizing, is it important to you?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it kind of is.
Okay.
All right. Then I don't know what I'm sorry for, so tell me what I did or what I caused or how I might have either hurt you or disappointed you or offended you, and I'm all in. I'm all in.
Yeah.
But then it's holding him accountable to check in with himself and try to figure out, where am I offended, hurt, annoyed,
Or maybe I'm none of those things and she really doesn't need to apologize.
That's right. See? But by you not
navigating that with him,
not going down that road with them, I think it triggered something in you that just caused the reaction to, no, I'm not going to apologize for something that I don't see warranted.
Yeah.
Only on your end. But you didn't try to ask on his end, hey, show me where it's warranted on your end, and I'm all in.
Yeah.
It triggered something in you, and then you went to, no, I'm not apologizing for something I can't see that I did. Other than being wrong. I'm not going to apologize for being wrong. It's probably where you went to.
Because I admitted and owned, you were right. And I figured, done.
Yeah.
But it wasn't done.
Yeah, it wasn't done. He wanted the whipped cream and the cherry and some nuts on top.
So that is a great conversation to have later on with him, because now I'm really interested in where was he coming from.
Yeah, and I think as you go exploring down that road a little bit more, both you guys being honest, then you get to understand each other a little bit better.
Yes, a little more onion peeling.
Yeah, and so then you'll know where to tippy-toe around and not step on certain toes intentionally or even unintentionally. It's just the more we can know our partners a little bit more and understand some of the things that they're still working on, we got to be a little bit more compassionate towards them.
Yes.
And vice versa.
Right.
But it's up to us to communicate that. Yes. So on his end, if he was here,
I
would be challenging him to say, how come you didn't tell her that this is how you felt? Like, I would have tried to peel the onion for you and got down to him just admitting what it was and then having him honestly communicate that to you in that moment. And I'm sure if he was sitting here, I would have said, I'm sure if you would have just shared that with Ellen, she would have, boom, 360, gave you the apology. But this is where we fall short in communication sometimes.
Yes, we get disconnected from that. So my other question is, why is it harder to apologize to some people than others?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the answer to that is that we put certain people in boxes. So I need you to kind of roll down this description with me for a minute. Yeah. We can easily put a person in a box, right? Like the kid box. You're my son, right? And it's a great example because my mom kind of fits into this scenario. So my mom puts me and my sisters in this box. And in the box is labeled, I'm not going to make a phone call to you. I'm the mom. You should make a phone call to me. So once she puts us in that box, we're not getting phone calls to say, hey, son, how are you? You know what I mean? Because she labeled it, I'm the mom, you should be calling me. So I want to now take that same box and open the possibility that you could put other people in boxes labeled, I'm not going to apologize to you because, and then whatever your justification is.
I have to find that justification because I don't think I'm aware of what it is.
You might not be aware of it. But if you gave me the scenario, I can help you find what the scenario is. It could be as simple as the last time I have apologized to you, it wasn't well received. Or every time I apologize to you, I see how arrogant you become. Or every time I apologize to you, you know what I mean? You've labeled it a certain, you've labeled that person a certain way in that box.
Yes.
Which would have you be less apologetic to them, but other people, they're not in a box, so you just.
So it's easy.
It's easy to go, hey, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It could be every time I apologize to you, there's never you're not receiving it in a warm way. But my neighbor, I can say, hey, I'm sorry, and they're so gracious and they're so warm with it. It's almost like when I apologize, it's like I'm handing you my heart. And
so that's that whole vulnerability thing that I'm working on.
Absolutely. And that's why he's saying from his experience, you seem to have, it looks like from his side you struggle with apologizing.
But it's the box that I've put him in.
Okay. And whatever you labeled that box, which is, hey, every time I've apologized in the past, and see, this is how sometimes our past creeps up and it affects us in the present moment.
The expectation
of what he's going to say or how he's going to receive it?
The expectation of the fact that he wants the apology.
Okay, yeah.
You know, it's like, no.
Yeah, and that's very common for husbands and wives.
Okay.
Where it's kind of like, you know what, you get everything you want in life. This is one thing I'm not going to give you.
Yeah, I'm holding on to this.
Yeah. So if you have this,
dynamic
or a pet peeve that he gets whatever he wants whenever he wants it, and he turns to you and goes, hey, give me an apology. It's the one thing that's in your control. You're going to go, no, I'm not giving this.
Yeah. I'm holding on to this one.
Yeah, just because you want it,
yeah.
I'm not going to give it. So then there comes that can come into play too.
Yeah. Okay.
But if he would have gotten honest with you and vulnerable and said, hey, the only reason why I'm asking you is because it really hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
Then I can see you going, all right, here you go. I'm all in.
I am not about that.
Yeah. But to answer your question, how come we can apologize to certain people and it seems easier?
So easy.
And then other people, it's challenging. And you got to be open to the possibility that you put certain people in a box, like our loved ones, right? Like I have a hard time saying I'm sorry to my daughter or my son or my wife or whoever it is because of whatever the label is. I'm afraid of being rejected, or sometimes it's from my past experiences of you. Every time I've apologized to you, you've never received it well. You've never said thank you, or as soon as I apologize to you, you don't hear it, and you just keep throwing more stuff at me anyway, so why bother? You got to remember, if people are apologizing to you, you're a recipient of the apology, and if you're not good at receiving it well, you're not going to get very many apologies from those people because you're not doing a great part on your end of receiving apologies.
Okay.
It's a two-sided street.
Well, we can absolutely talk about that.
Yeah, so when we come back from the break, we'll talk a little more about how to be a great receiver of receiving apologies, and could be a good possibility that the reason why people don't apologize to you because you don't receive it well. Stay tuned for more of the Alex Urbina Radio Show right here in your hometown station, KHTS.
If you'd like to take your business up a notch, take a look at Elite Magazine.
Linda and Mo Hafizi, owners of our Valley's two leading magazines, the Magazine of Santa Clarita and Elite.
I'm so proud of Elite. It allows your advertisement to stand out. We distribute Elite to 50,000 homes and businesses. You'll find us in 1,900 local hotel rooms.
Discover how Elite Magazine can help your business. Call 294-4444.
Superior quality is second nature to us. Just ask our advertisers.
The Art Gallery of Santa Clarita Artists Association, located in downtown Newhall on 6th Street between Railroad and Main, features local members' original artwork with changing exhibits every 2 months. Purchase affordable art for your home or as gifts. Open Friday through Sunday or by appointment. Artists wishing to join the SCAA can visit santaclaritaartist.org, come to our free monthly meetings at Barnes & Noble, or stop by the gallery. For upcoming shows, check us out at santaclaritaartist.org. We make visual art visible.
We all know sometimes people lose their way. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, the Way Out Recovery SCV may have the answers you've been waiting for. The Way Out is the premier intensive outpatient treatment center serving Santa Clarita. Asking for help is the first step. Call The Way Out today, 661-296-4444. That's 296-4444 for a private free assessment. The Way Out is an accredited, affordable outpatient program that accepts most insurance. Call us at 661-296-4444 or check us out online at thewayOutRecoverySCV.com. Quit battling with yourself. Ask The Way Out for help today.
This is a Rita's Daybreak. There's a huge crowd at Rita's. With so many amazing flavors, every day's a treat. Let's see what folks are celebrating.
I lost my first tooth. No more training wheels. My dog photo got 37 likes.
3 kids, 3 activities, 0 meltdowns. There you have it. Layer it, blend it, or drink it with Italian ice and creamy custard. So many reasons to celebrate at Rita's. This has been a Rita's Daybreak.
Hometown, your hometown station.
And welcome back to the Alex Urbina radio show. You're hanging out with Alex and Ellen. Today we're talking about Ellen's pet peeves. One of her pet peeves is saying the I'm sorry and trying to figure out how to say it in a way that's it's authentic, and or if it's being requested because you were offended and it's warranted. When it's not warranted, it's a challenge to try to figure out why are you asking it. And then it becomes you now using your voice to clarify what's the request about. And I'm sure once you validate that the request is valid, then you're 100% willing to own up to whatever part you played in offending them or hurting their feelings, correct?
Yes. And, as we've been talking about this and, trying to understand it, something came up for me just now. Must have been my chakra bracelet. From the time I was a kid, I had a very challenging time when someone would tell me what I had to do. That's what this was about.
So it's not even about the apology.
No. I just
All right, now we're going to slice this down, right? We're going to dissect it a little bit. Did he tell you what you had to do? Or did he?
Yes.
And how did it sound? What were the words?
You need to apologize.
Oh, okay. So it was a you need to.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And I have this childlike knee-jerk reaction that says, I don't have to do anything.
That's right.
I can choose to do it.
Yeah. So
but I don't have to.
So the walls come up because you don't have to. Don't tell me what.
Haven't had that wall come up in a while, but that's where that's coming from.
So this is good because it's an awareness now of that you have a trigger when somebody implies that you need to do something.
Yeah. Because
you don't need to do it. However, you're 150% willing to do something if it's requested of you. If it becomes more of a request rather than a demand.
Like a heartfelt request.
Yeah.
This, like you said, I still believe it's very important that I drill it down next time and say, hey, explain to me what happened to you that you feel that you need this apology. Did I hurt your feelings? I still think that's really important. I also think it's really important to understand for those who say it frequently that it's about them. It's not about me, and I don't need to tell them not to. But in this particular situation, I got triggered.
And that's why words are important.
Yeah.
Because when you're using the English dictionary in your head to articulate in conversations, if you pick one word that's off, it makes or breaks whatever it is that you're trying to communicate and the way that the other person is actually receiving it. So a lot of times what I do when I coach couples or I'm doing communication coaching, A lot of times my job is to listen to the request or the communication from one partner and then help transcribe those words to the other partner so that they don't misinterpret what they're saying. And upon doing that, what happens is both partners learn through my translating how to communicate more effectively.
Right.
Because you'll be surprised that how many people will say something and I'll go, are you trying to say this? And then when I say it, they go, yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. So it opens up the possibility that a lot of times we don't even really know how to articulate ourselves, what we're feeling, what we're needing, in a way that the other people hear it in an inviting way. We can be requesting something and totally be turning someone off that's hearing the request because of one or two words that we're using that it just tagged them, or it just brought up some walls, or took them back to an abusive relationship in one of their marriages, or it took them back to their childhood where their dad spoke down to them. We don't realize that we trigger things in people when we're communicating and using words. That's why when I communicate, I really spend some time trying to find words that are going to be the least most misinterpreted in a negative way. Right. And I'm not always the best at it. It's something I'm still practicing and trying to master. But I really put a lot of intention into words, especially if I write an email. I might write 3 or 4 different versions.
Before you get to the
I'll come back and I'll read it again. I'm like, let's take this way out. Let's do it. So that when people are reading it or they're hearing the message, that they're really getting my come from. Where, it's like, if I want to let you know, if I want to challenge you on something, but I also want you to know that I'm on your team,
yes,
then I'm going to communicate in a certain way. If I forget to add the parts and the wording to let you know I'm on your team, it's very easy for me to challenge you, and you forget that I'm on your team.
Right, and go, what?
And now all your walls come up and you get defensive. So there's a really powerful way, and it takes a real committed effort to be really mindful and self-aware and really picking your words delicately so that when you're communicating, the other person hears you in a way that you want them to hear them.
So the burden of communication really is on the communicator. It's and I do that, I'm trying to be very self-aware with my kids, with my grandchildren. But I think one of the proponents of this box that I have put him in, that I'd like to explore a little bit more, is how one receives. It's kind of like there are people that receive compliments beautifully and people that don't. There are people that receive apologies beautifully and people that don't. So I can literally remember a couple of times where I did apologize and the response was, see, honey, I'm right 99% of the time. And it was like, ugh. Well, you're not getting one next time.
Yeah, that's right. And you know what?
In jest.
But you also have to take in consideration certain people. Let me see. How do I explain this? All right. So I have probably in my life, in my inner circle, I have probably about 5 to 8 types of friends and maybe some family members that make jokes out of things.
Yes.
And so because they have that, so they're like, what's the word I'm trying to find? Not cynical, but they're they hide behind. They're not very well at being vulnerable.
Yes.
And so they hide behind making something a joke, right?
Yes.
And so sometimes I'll be saying something and then they'll make a joke out of it. I have to learn that that's their personality style.
They're not doing anything to you.
Yeah, they're not like if I'm giving them a gift and they're like, oh, great gift, like you couldn't have picked better wrapping paper, and then they start laughing.
That would be.
It's very easy for me to go, oh,
really?
Then you're never getting a gift again because you're complaining about the wrapping paper. Or I have to go, that's just Tom. That's just Brian. That's just Mike. That's just Jennifer. That's just the way, then I have to realize maybe Tom, Jennifer, Mike, maybe they're uncomfortable with receiving gifts. So they don't know how to be vulnerable and say, hey, you know what? Thank you, Alex. This means the world to me. So they mask it with a joke. But that's not, you have to be mindful of that and aware of that and know that that could be their issue. It's a byproduct of their functioning, not your functioning.
Right. Yes.
And it sounds like because in the past he's either hasn't received certain things well, like a compliment or an apology, he's not receiving them in the way. This is what we were talking about before the break.
Yeah.
If you don't learn how to be a great receiver, be careful, because those people are going to stop giving you those gifts, like apologies and acknowledgments and compliments and the things that we need as human beings to be validated that I'm important, that I'm loved, that I matter. So you got to really be careful as a receiver to receive well. And if you don't know how to receive well and you hide behind jokes or you chuckle or you downplay stuff, you're all your
snide response.
Yeah, all you're
like
doing is chopping your own toes off.
Yeah.
And how devastating is to know that you could be doing that to the people that you love the most.
Right. Because
And they're
that's
not
just what you have learned.
And they're not going to come to you and go, "Hey, honey, just so you know, all the compliments I haven't been giving you the last 7 or 12 years, I haven't been giving them because you don't receive them well." Most of us don't even know how to see that. So that's why we're having this discussion is, could it be possible that you haven't been giving certain people acknowledgments, forgiveness, apologies because they don't receive well, or vice versa? Have you not been getting them because you don't receive well?
Yes. And, knowing who he is, it all makes sense. I can reach out and say, if I do apologize and I get one of those, well, now you know I'm 99%. It's up to me to say, I really wanted to give this apology, but I'm struggling with your response to it.
You know what's funny? Let's say we went to lunch one day and I said, "Hey, I need to get something on my chest." And I said, I was having lunch with Ron. He said, I said something to him. He chuckled and laughed, and it really hurt my feelings. I can see you going, "That's just the way he is. It wasn't about you, Alex." I can totally hear you saying that to me.
Yeah. Or I'd say something like, "Welcome to my world."
Yeah,
I get it.
Exactly. Like, you can't take it personal.
Has the biggest heart in the world.
Yeah, exactly. And it ain't got nothing to do with you. It's something on his side.
Yeah.
So it's like you would be telling me that, but you can't.
I can't
tell.
do it.
You can't keep reminding. You got to keep reminding yourself.
Yes.
That because sometimes we get amnesia and we forget.
So what happens if you there's a situation, it was heartfelt, you owned it, you gave this person that you love your deepest sense of responsibility and apology and all of that. What happens if they go, "No, not taking it"? I mean, do you just go, "Okay"?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Because this is why. If I hand you a gift and you say no to my gift, are you rejecting me or the offer?
Just the offer.
Just the offer. Most human beings don't see just the offer being rejected. They take the offer and the offering and the gift as, "I'm giving you this, so it's a representation of me."
Okay.
So let's take a salesman, for example. A salesman, if you were a salesperson and you talked to 10 different people and made 10 different offers, and every one of them said, "No, thank you." Or let's take 100 people. 100 people in one day, 8 hours. All 100 said no in their own way. "No, hell no. No, no way. No,
get out of my face."
Yeah, no, right? No, 100 different ways. At the end of the day, are you going to be coming home all like bummed out and depressed?
No, because they weren't rejecting you, the person. They were rejecting your offer.
It's very easy to say that now because I shared that with you.
Right.
But the average human being is going to take that as a rejection of them. That's why most of us
wears them down.
That's why most of us aren't salespeople, because we can't separate a no from no to the offer versus no to me as a human being. We take it as a personal rejection.
So this is very interesting, and I don't believe in coincidences. So Ron was a salesman his entire life, 40, 50 years of being a salesperson. And so he has honed this craft.
That's right.
And that's why we get what we get.
Yeah, and he could separate, if he's making a request or an offer and you say no, he just, however he framed his mind, is like, it's not personal. It's not about me.
Right.
And then when you're in sales for a long time, you also know the law of numbers, like 10-3-1. For every 10 offers, 3 are going to be interested, and then 1's going to say yes. So you just got to go through the numbers. It means you got to talk to 1,000 people a day, get to get to 100 maybes and 10 sales. So what you do is you really develop this thick skin, and you learn how to separate what I'm selling or what I'm offering versus me as a human being. And so a lot of us, we take it personal when you offer an apology and someone goes, no, I'm not going to accept your apology. In that moment, you attach your apology because it's mine, and I was giving it to you from my heart, and I was giving it to you from this place of vulnerability. And man, by you not accepting that, you just rejected me. And I don't ever want to feel rejection again. So guess how many more times I'm going to come to you and apologize?
0.
Yeah. Instead, and most of us as human beings, we make a no, right? We take it personal, make it about us. We hardly ever go, oh, maybe it's about him. Maybe it's about her. So what I've been practicing in the last 12 to 15 years is practicing how to, when people reject an offer that I've made, or even a handshake or a hug, right? I don't take that personal like it's a rejection towards me. What I've done is I've trained myself to see that there's a possibility that something's going on their side, that they're uncomfortable with that, or that they're not worthy enough to receive it, or they don't see the value of it. I make it more about them rather than me taking it on, because it's really not about me. If I'm giving you a gift and you're saying no, there's only a couple reasons why. 1, you don't see the value. 2, you're angry. 3, you're resentful, whatever it is. But it's all a byproduct of your dysfunction, and it got nothing to do with me.
So it sounds like with everything that we're talking about, I tripped over my ego.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, it came in and said, hello, I'm here.
That's right.
You're going to do it my way.
Yeah. And with the apology thing is, you want a what?
Yeah.
And it was sitting on your shoulder going, Ellen, did you hear what he said?
Yeah.
He says he needs you to give him an apology. What's wrong with him? And you went, oh, no, you're not.
Yeah, I don't have to do anything.
Oh, no, you're not going to ask me tell me you need an apology, because now you ain't getting it. And so all of that gameplay comes in, right? Ego's got all its games its rackets.
It literally had its claws in me during that scenario, and I could feel it, but I couldn't identify it. I knew something was going on.
Yeah.
But I was trying to be self-reflective, but I couldn't break it down yet. I just couldn't break it down.
Yeah. Now, when we practice being compassionate at all times, especially in those times, when you reside to the compassionate place, that's where all of a sudden those filters, they go out, they go away, and all you see is a loving guy who just, he wants or needs something from you. He doesn't know how to even acknowledge it or ask for it or be honest about what's going on or even notice it. And so that's what he's saying in that moment. Yeah. But when ego jumped in, it hurt a whole bunch of other stuff. It triggered stuff from your past and all the stuff and all the conversations that you've created and the narratives called, you better not demand stuff from me because you're not getting it.
Tell me what I have to do.
That's right. And so, when we come from a compassionate place, all of a sudden it all goes away. It's almost like the ego games can't exist. It can't thrive inside the compassionate box that we hang out in. So if you go hang out in being compassionate, all those triggers and those games don't come out.
They
because
just go away.
From a compassionate place, you can see his heart, and you can see that, Did I offend? And then that's where the question comes in for you now to ponder and ask him. Did I hurt your feelings? Did I offend you?
Honestly, if he needed an apology, how important is it on a scale of 1 to 10 that I don't give it to him?
Well, it's not even a matter of how important it is, but I want you to start seeing them more as a gift.
Yeah.
They're gifts.
They're gifts.
I've learned how to apologize to people that I wasn't even in the scenario. I wasn't even involved. Hey, I'm sorry you had to go through that. Wow, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Hey, I'm sorry that was, that the pain that you're feeling from that. It's so amazing when you can apologize for someone else or for an event or a circumstance that happened that doesn't even have anything to do with you. That's a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Because I know that this person might not ever hear an apology from her dad, or never in a million years hear the apology from the son who, just told her to, take a hike or whatever it is. In that moment when they're breaking down, sometimes we need to hear an apology, and they don't care who it comes from. But you can give them that gift if you're big enough, if your context is big enough to be that person for them.
If you make that connection.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just as one human to another.
Yeah. I can go to a compassionate place and feel sorry for you and still communicate, I'm so sorry that's where you're at, or that's where you're at. That's where you're struggling or you're feeling the pain from. So when we come back from the break, we'll wrap this up. We'll talk about maybe we'll pop up some more pet peeves for the next show.
Okay.
Because I like the pet peeves.
You
Those
like
are pretty
pet
cool.
peeves?
Yeah. All right, stay tuned for more of the Alex Urbina Radio Show right here in your hometown station, KHTS.
Santa Clarita, bedbugs are taking over our city. They've invaded our homes, our businesses, and most importantly, our sleep. If you have suspicious bites that appear nightly, or have a bug that you need ID'd, your best option is to make one call to All Pro. We offer a 100% guarantee that your bedbug issues will be solved with heat in one treatment. No need to tent or spray your house with chemicals. Heat is all you need. Call 661-298-2200 or text me a bug picture to 661-645-0540. It's time to sleep tight again, STV.
Chocolate lovers rejoice! The Chocolate Pub is now open. All chocolates are handcrafted with unique flavors like cake batter and cheesecake, just to name a few. Gone vegan? Not a problem. The Chocolate Pub has vegan options for all drinks and chocolates. And if you're in a hurry, there's a drive-thru available for specialty hot chocolate, high-quality coffee, and chocolates. Stop by the Chocolate Pub for all things chocolate. Located at 18715 Soledad Canyon, just west of Sierra Highway.
This is Greg from Consumers Furniture Gallery. For the past 41 years, we pride ourselves on offering quality name brand furniture at unbeatable prices. We carry a huge selection of dining and bedroom furniture in the latest styles and designs. We also have the largest selection of sofas and sectionals in the Santa Clarita Valley. You can choose your style, fabrics, leathers, and colors, or have one of our experts design it for you. Our mattress gallery features over 50 beds featuring Diamond and Serta. Consumers Furniture is located in the Centerpoint Shopping Center below Sam's Club and Walmart.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome to the Alex Urbina Radio Show. The following is paid programming and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of KHTS or its ownership.
And welcome back to the Alex Urbina Radio Show. Today, Elle and I are talking about the words, I'm sorry. And it started off your pet peeve. Is it still your pet peeve, or you're off it now?
I'm off it.
So what'd you learn about the word I'm sorry? And I think it was more of an awareness of realizing it wasn't even about the I'm sorry. It was more about the request. Didn't sound like a request. It was more of a demand. It sounded like a demand through your interpretation.
Right.
Even
a
though he
requirement.
Even though maybe on his end he didn't intend to demand
he
it.
didn't.
No, he was just saying this is just innocently, this is what I need from you.
Yeah.
But when you heard need triggers like, oh no.
Well, yeah. Again, I try to work on that every day, is to, when someone says, well, what you need to do, what you have to do.
So was it you need or I need? And could that have made a difference? Because you keep phrasing it as when he said, you need to apologize to me. Now,
that was my perception.
No, right. What if he would have said, you know, honey, I need you to apologize? Would it have made a difference?
It would today. It wouldn't have then.
Oh, okay. It still would have triggered. The need was the key word that triggered you.
Yeah.
So what'd you learn today about this topic?
I learned that it's not about me. When someone is apologizing to you, they're trying to give you a gift. And that gift is heartfelt and compassionate, and it's no longer about you. So on that side, I also learned that not everyone knows how to receive an I'm sorry. And so when you say you're sorry and you don't get the response, once again, it keeps coming around. It's not about me. It's not about me.
Well, everyone receives it. Even if they choose not to receive it, they're still receiving it, but in a rejective kind of way, right? But everyone's receiving your apology. Not everyone has mastered the ability to receive it well, so that you, the person who's giving the apology, has a great experience, such that the next time there's apology needed, you're willing to give it again.
Willing to do it again,
right? I mean, it's just like saying hello. If you say hello to me once a day for 30 days, and my face lights up, and I'm like, hey, hello, thanks for seeing me, right? And I'm giving you those kinds of receiving it well and receiving it in a way that lets you know that I needed it, I wanted it, I'm grateful for it. Are you going to
want to do it again and again and again?
Exactly. But if in 30 days, every day you came and said hello to me, and most of them I just nodded or didn't say anything, or I just waved and put my head down, or I felt uncomfortable receiving the hello, or I'm uncomfortable making eye contact with you, after the 30 days, or even probably after the second day, you're probably not going to feel compelled to keep saying hello to me. yeah, you might downgrade to meet the level that I'm at.
Yeah.
So it really goes to show you, as a human being, we're training people how to treat us
all the time. And especially our kids, when our kids come to you and go, Mom, I really need to talk to you, even as innocent as not right now, honey, they create a belief called my mom doesn't care, my dad doesn't have time for me. We make up stories based on how other people receive a request, an invitation, a greeting. You're always co-creating an experience for people. And if you're not mindful of it and you're not aware of it, you can totally be turning people off and then wondering why no one wants to be around you or hang out with you or invite you anywhere. It could be because you're totally unaware that you're turning people off. Right. And another aha for me is don't forget about compassion. I mean, it's such an important thing every single day, being compassionate, understanding what that means for me, being able to share that compassion with other people. We forget, we go on our merry way, we forget, we get triggered. But when you come back to your place in your heart of love and compassion, it's a wonderful place to be.
Absolutely. And I don't think that people are not compassionate. I think people, for the most part, are compassionate, and they know they are from time to time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that it's very challenging to be compassionate when there's someone in your life that might be triggering things from your past that cause your walls to come up.
So true.
That's where the awareness has to really be kicked in and heightened.
Yes.
All right, we're out of here. The good news is we're here every Friday live at noon. Thanks for listening in to the Alex Urbina Radio Show right here in your hometown station, KHTS.